Hi, everybody. We have another episode of Life After Television, although this one's a little bit different. This is, I think, life beyond television. We're not just talking about cable TV and unscripted television. We're looking at things that are products that are beyond that can be produced. And today, and I'm going to make her blush, and she's already told me she's going to blush. One of my heroes, Shirley Vernae Williams. She is such a creative powerhouse, an absolute delight. And as I've mentioned, if I had met her 20 years ago, I would have demanded to collaborate with her every opportunity I could get. So thank you for joining me today. I super appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you every time you say that, I'm like, oh, tell me more.
Oh, yay. Motivational. Look, we got to have each other's backs. And when we mean it, that's even better. That's kind of it. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about, our industry right now is struggling. There's been huge cutbacks. We all know about this, but we both have things in common that we know that there's things beyond, there's careers beyond television. It's not just in television. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about that. So tell us a little bit about kind of your work in television and how you got into the business.
Yeah, and I love what you're doing, especially because of the state of the industry. This is this is so timely where people, instead of us thinking about everything that's wrong, we get to look at what we have in our hands and the brilliance of our mind and our creativity and figure out how to use that in a way that can create continued success.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I love this. But so for me, I actually started in post production working in unscripted. So uh, I started at left field. Well, I didn't start there, but if we just jump into like the kickoff of it all,
Right.
I was at Left Field Pictures working in post production, and that was at some point acquired by ITV America. And so I got to learn really about the functionality of television from a post standpoint
Mm-hmm.
and overseeing budgets and teams and staffs and supporting and the creative as well. But it was heavy, heavy, heavy in logistics, which those skill sets are essential to me now, those
Mm-hmm.
skill sets that I gained there. And then from there, I went on to post produce documentaries. I got really, really bored with unscripted television challenge. So I took on post producing for documentaries. And after doing that for a while, I got really, really burned out because of the type of content that I was working on. It was necessary, it was needed, it was for social impact, social cause. It was too heavy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to do something light and different and fun. And so from there, I transitioned into branded content. And so some of my first introductions to branded content, I was working at Gary Vaynerchuk's company, VaynerMedia. A
Mm-hmm.
friend, Nadia Rush, was, I think she was VP of development for Pure Wow. They had just acquired Pure Wow. And she brought me over and she was like, listen, it's low lift, it's not heavy. And that was something that I really, really needed. And I went in and I loved, loved, loved the challenge of having to tell story using the same formula, the same structure that we would use in long form, whether it be a 30-minute show, a 60-minute show, a 90-minute film, using that same formula in a 15-second piece or a
Mm-hmm.
30-second piece or a 5-minute piece. No matter what, stories still need the same types of elements. So it was exciting, it was new, it was fresh. And that was my introduction to Branded, and it was well funded.
Good. Yes. Always needed. Absolutely.
So we had resources, it was all the good stuff. And so I did that at VaynerMedia for a while, learning a lot
Mm-hmm.
about the basics about branded content. And the great thing is because I was network facing and director facing and in previous roles, I was able to take those skill sets and easily transition them into branded and being client facing, working directly with brands. I knew how to communicate with them effectively and all that jazz. And so I went on to direct and produce really big campaigns for publishers like Bleacher Report, Vice Media, Unbothered, which is a asset under Refinery 29.
Mhm.
And I think I was my last publisher job or directing job for a publisher was at Refinery 29. And I was like, oh, I can do this myself. And so out of that, I birthed a very boutique content studio. And so now I have a team and we work in servicing brands and agencies around creative strategy and content creation and helping them achieve their storytelling goals.
Fan- Fantastic. Again, and I've seen your work, and everybody, the name of her company is Willie B Productions, and if you can check out her work, check it out. It's phenomenal. Just really stylized, incredible stories, incredible narratives. They're great. And so tell everybody a little bit about some of the awards you've won, because then I'm going to back you up on the awards you've won. Yeah.
You I should have went and read my list of things, but we I'm always like, you're the Emmy lady though. You're the Emmy girl. You've gotten the actual Emmys. I've just been nominated. So I've been nominated, which I'm so grateful for. That's such a great honor. We've gotten 2 Ad Week awards, which is really, really cool.
Hmm.
We just I forgot the name of it. We actually just won an award for a Target story that we did with or around Dwayne Edwards, who was one of the first Black designers and actually over at Nike and helped to revolutionize the Jordan brand. So we got to tell his story and we just won an award for that. But yeah, we've gotten some really, really cool awards for our work that we've done and branded and some of the long form work that I've done as well.
Yeah, I want to stress this to everybody. And one thing Shirley and I have in common is we've kind of bounced around, and I like to joke that I get this itch, like, oh, I think it's time to change. I get a little, feels like it's a little stagnant, move into something different. And so, I was an editor and predator and producer, and then went into development and kind of did that. But before I was in television, I ran a talent agency in Chicago for advertising and marketing professionals, creative directors, art directors, all different copywriters you imagine, for boutiques and for ad agencies like Leah Burnett, Facona Belding, DDB Needham, etc. These awards she's talking about, these are incredibly competitive, and it yeah, kudos. I mean, it's like Emmys, guys. She has won some amazing awards in a very competitive, creative world. And in advertising, at least mine, please disagree with me, you're allowed to be really creative. You're allowed to kind of really do things that are going to grab people's attention and tell this incredible story, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why I love it so much, especially when you get a brand who's willing to go there, be bold, take risks, explore, be in discovery, try some new things. It's so much fun. So much fun.
And a lot of eyeballs. I mean, think about the number of people who watch the Super Bowl just for the ads and don't watch it for the game at all. I mean, an impactful ad is amazing. I want to ask you about your post experience. Do you think that your post experience helped you be able to think about these types of stories? And I say this because when I started as an editor, one of my first things I had to do was do cut downs, and there was even a thing for shorts to go on airlines or cruise ships or trains, that I would have to take an hour-long show and cut it into 8 minutes and still make the narrative feel strong. I still had to keep that intact. And do you think that your starting in post kind of helped you, guide you in this way?
Oh, for sure. For sure. The great thing about the role that I had in post-production was that I always said that I got paid to learn. What I was an observer for so long. I got to sit in edit bays with some of the best editors, some of the best producers, and just listen to how they think about story and what's their process, what's their strategy, what's their approach to get in, to get out, to communicate something to the viewer, whether it be through music, through a transition, through a word. And so being able to just sit and to listen is sort of like being in a classroom,
Mm-hmm.
and you're listening to this professor or a lecturer, and you're taking it all in, and then I got to receive all that and then go out into the field in another medium and play and test these things. So post production, which was great because I went from post production and long form to post production and doc and post production and branded. So it did multiple things. It made me be considerate about what was missing in the field. So when I was able to go into the field, I could think from that lens of, oh, these are the things. And you being a producer and an editor and
Mm-hmm.
all these things, I'm pretty sure you think about these things too, about what will I need in this phase of post-production that helps to inform what you'll need when you're actually out in the field doing the work. But yeah, everything that I got and I learned and I took in while I was working in post production, while doing long form alone, was essential to this transition of being a director, being a producer for short form content.
Mhm. Yeah, I know that I'm overly protective of editors, overly protective of post, and that it's not meant as any disrespect to field producers or or directors, but I've worked with some enormously talented editors who are some of the best storytellers I've ever met. They're just incredible, and in post, you are putting it all together. You're making it all come together, and yeah, that was something that occurred to me. So you know what's going on with this, our industry with television, whatnot. What advice do you have? What tips do you have for people who maybe are feeling frustrated right now and are looking for other opportunities? What would you say to them?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Warren Buffett talks about this, about the fear of people when there's a downside, right? What people tend to do, if you think about the market, they want to sell. They go into action. I think this is the perfect opportunity to hit pause and to audit yourself, audit your vision, audit your dreams, audit your skill set, and to use that same creativity that we use to create content, to relay a message, to sell a product, to put something on Bravo, to entertain, to move people through in a documentary, to take action for a social cause. Use that same creativity and apply it to ourselves, to think about what is possible. What can I do with all the things that I've learned in my 1 year as a PA or my 10 years as an executive producer in scripted television? We This world of content creation is so vast, and it's growing at a rapid rate, and it's going to continue to grow. And what is available to us is infinite, but we've got to take a beat and slow down and assess what we have in terms of our skill set, our learnings, our knowledge, and think creatively about how we can use it. Every single uh, um, sector in our world, every industry needs storytelling in some way, shape, or fashion. And so we get to think about how we can use this gift that we have to serve people in so many other ways. And also, I think that I call it like the pivot, right? Those that will succeed and come out of here, with their head up high and feeling great and have done something wonderful during this time are those who are masters of the pivot, who
Hmm.
can, who can adapt to change, who are agile, who are flexible. Think about how you can pivot and use people out of Egypt, right? Like he used what was in his hand. And also remember, this is temporary.
Hold on a second. you froze right at and use, and then I think we came to like Egypt. What was between use and Egypt? Say it one more time.
Think of the story of Moses with the staff,
Right.
where God said, "What do you have in your hand? Use it." Right. So, and he took that staff and he used it as a guide to shepherd hundreds of thousands of people out of slavery.
Yep.
And same thing, we can use what we have to transform our lives, to continue telling stories, to have some sort of impact. And it's also important for us to remember that this is temporary. Uh, we have been here before. We will come out of this, and at some point in life, we'll be back here again, right? But it's temporary. It will end. It will get better. When, we don't know, but this is the time where we get to play and create and have fun and try new things.
You know, I love the idea of doing an audit and thinking about what you have.
Yeah.
And I was telling someone recently that stop thinking about roles and
Mm.
think about skills. Think about the skills you have.
Yeah.
And it's something that just happened. I'm gonna laugh, is like, I'm not gonna edit out the freeze, right? When you froze, because part of it, one thing that we in our business, we are great at is handling adversity and finding a pivot. It's okay. You froze briefly. You came back. We still got the story. It's good. We are able to handle whatever is thrown at us. And that skill set and that ability is something that I mean, almost everybody I know in our industry has, and we need to go out and like just scream it from the mountains of like, you have problems? Yeah, we're fine. We got it. Don't worry. Nothing's problem. We got it. You know, no. So it's great. Well, do you have any final words? Anything? And by the way, I have to say your framing is perfect because there's a spotlight behind you. So you look
I-
total rock star. It's awesome. You look great. You look fabulous.
Yeah. No, I don't have any I don't have any final words. It's, when you look at the history of the crash of 2008, of all these big moments that happened in history. History repeats itself. It's in the valley, in these really dark moments where some of the biggest innovations were birthed, right? And all of us who are experiencing this moment in our industry, we have that same access. We have that same ability to take this moment and birth something incredible. And I think this is a time where we play and we test and we try new things. And when we come out of it, because we will, some of us will have seized the opportunity and come out having made it like a really, really, really big opportunity. And some of us won't. And either is okay. But there's a lot available right now in this moment. It's about reframing and choosing a perspective that can generate absolute success.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Totally. Everybody, check out her website. Go to williebproductions.com. Go to her LinkedIn page. Follow her on Facebook. Absolutely inspirational. It is always a delight. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. I appreciate you.